All right, it's 11, so let's get started with the session. Hello, everybody, once again, and welcome to a webcast, TIA Portal, version control, and backup with versiondog. We're super excited having you all here, and looking forward to have a nice webcast, and also looking forward to your comments and your feedback after the session. With that being said, let's get to some organizational stuff. I wanted to let you know that this webcast is going to be recorded, but once again, please don't worry about your personal information, such as your names, email addresses, and company names. We're not going to share any of this afterwards, and it won't be visible even during this webcast to other participants, all right? By the way, just so if you're wondering, my name is Georgios. I'm the guy on the right side here on the picture, and I'm a global account manager here at Helvetii, and I will moderate and support a little bit Thomas Hörauf. Your microphones and your cameras are turned off automatically just because we want to make sure we're going to provide good quality using the full bandwidth and also avoid a little bit the background noises. And maybe some embarrassing situations here and there. You might have experienced some situations. All right, for the question and answer, you will see a chat window on the right-hand side where you can write down all your questions, and we're gonna have a wrap-up session after the presentation, all right? So I'm sure you're quite familiar with those tools. Our goal, of course, is to answer all questions, but I've mentioned it, so we are such a large group, which is great, but sometimes more complicated questions appearing, so which need to be, more investigated, or which we are not able to answer on the spot. So we will answer them afterwards by follow-up emails. All right. So with that being said, I would like to hand over to my colleague Thomas Hörauf. He will probably introduce himself very briefly and then start. Thomas, the stage is yours.
Georgios, thank you very much, and also a warm welcome from my side. Thank you for your interest and thank you for joining today's webcast. My name is Thomas Hörauf. I'm responsible at Helvetii for the global accounts. These are the larger customers who rolled out versiondog over all their plants worldwide, globally. There we have many customers, started in one plant and rolled it out as it was good in the first one. Of course, they use it in multiple plants. I'm since the beginning at Helvetii, and I'm proud to show you today versiondog together with TIA Portal. As we have a lot of new customers and interests participating on this web meeting, I will give a short introduction about Helvetii, talk about who we are, what we do. But the second part, then, of course, I will go directly into features and functionality of versiondog. The larger part, of course, will be the live demo. So I have there a VMware image where versiondog and TIA Portal is installed. I will do there some changes. I will show you how we compare TIA projects as well as how it's working to back up also the TIA Portal projects. And then we keep time at the end for question and answers. So feel free to write it down or you type it directly into the chat window, and Georgios, he will look on the questions. And we'll pick afterwards the most interesting questions from the chat. If we can't answer all, for sure we will come back after the session to you and answer your question which you have typed in. So don't worry, if we can't answer it in these 45 minutes, they will be, of course, answered afterwards. For any reason, please type it into the chat, the question, and Georgios will have a look on it. Good, then let's start here. Let's start with Helvetii, give you a short introduction about it. Helvetii is the company name, and it stands for Automated Versioning System. This is what we do. There we are quite the experts. We are founded in 2007. We have also experience as we, since the mid of 19, have to do with versioning and backup. In the meantime, Helvetii grows to close to 100 people. And with that size, we are already 3 times larger than the next competitor. And there are only 3 of us on the market. So we are here really the leading change management system. And with 100 people, we have a huge output. So we are the only one who present the roadmap in the internet to our customers and to the interest, so that you see what will come in the future, what is planned for the next version, and so on. And I will come back on the roadmap later. Since 2007, we expanded globally. So we are in over 45 countries with partners available, with distributors. We have 3 offices as RVC itself, so we cover all time zones. A US office, we have an office here, the headquarters in Europe, as well as we have now a new office in China, so that all time zones are covered and you can get 24/7 hour support if you need it. Normally with version it's not needed, but it's available, and so you can have the safety that there's always somebody available. Yeah, we did so far 1,300 installation in plants. This is a huge number. Yeah, 1,500 and 1,300 customers. And to give you a rough number, what we back up every night, every day, it's over 5 billion devices like PLCs, robots, SCADA systems, industrial PCs. So each kind of device where software is running in. This is what we do every day. And based on this huge number, of course, the product is, yeah, I would say, well proven. Not only in the quality department, also outside on the customer side, where it's doing on his daily job. So what is VersionDog doing at the end? Yeah, I give you a fast answer. It always tells you who changed what, when, where, and why. This is at least the result you're getting out of it. And everybody talks about Industry 4.0, Internet of Things, and so on. And I would position VersionDog as one of the base functions of IoT. Yeah? So everything is networked, the data is increasing, more and more devices are on network available, and then you need a system which is managing the data at least. So the automatic backup of each device, getting all the data which is running in the device automatically. We have a huge amount of connectors to these devices, as we partner with all of the hardware vendors who develop these devices. And that is at the end what you will get. So if you look to a typical plant, there you have sensors, HMIs, robots, so all kind of automation devices, beside, of course, TIA. And therefore, we have developed the connectivity to the systems, including automatic backup functionality if they are on network. Then you can, of course, also compare the backup against the stored version, against the stored revision, to see always what is going on, if it's in line with the backup, the stored version, or if there are differences. Yeah, therefore we had to partner, or we partnered with a lot of companies. Here on the left side, you see some of the most important. These are not all, there are much more. But all these automation devices from these vendors are supported by VersionDog. So VersionDog, we mainly talk today about TIA, but please keep in mind, we also support, I would say, the whole market more or less. And it's ongoing, so if you want to know what is coming up, then you can go also to the internet, to the roadmap, and I have inserted here for me a link. So if I click on this, I hopefully get here on the web, yes. And there you see a website. The address is versiondog.info. So if you type versiondog.info into the Explorer, Internet Explorer, you will reach exactly this website here. And there, one of the first items is our VersionDog roadmap. You see we released now 8.5, and there you can see what is included. And we have always a lot of new features and functions in it. And there's also, of course, always something about Siemens TIA, where we optimize the functionality. And for sure for version 9, which is planned for calendar week 22, there it's ongoing. There we will have version 17 of TIA Portal then immediately supported. So the typical question in the chat is, how long does it take to get VersionDog supporting a new version? The answer related to TIA Portal is we develop the support parallel to Siemens. We are always in contact with them, exchange experience from the testing. And as soon as version 17 is released, you already can have a pre-version of VersionDoc for it, or maybe it's already released. Yeah? So it doesn't take a long time. As I'm now already in the internet, you see also here, if you go to VersionDoc info and there on device tutorials, there you would see then an overview about all kind of smart compares which we deliver. Yeah? So here all the PLC families, the SCADA and HMI stuff, DCS systems, robots, and so on. And here we have also Siemens TIA. And if you click on such a link, then you will be guided there, and then you see always information. In this case, for example, you see that for compare and backup, we currently still use the TIA portal itself. Yeah? When we back up, we use the openness interface of TIA or the TIA itself, and then we can back up all the hardware and compare it. And here you see also an overview. So we started with version 11 until 16, and 17 again is more or less finished already, parallel to the development of Siemens. And with 8.5, it will then, or 8.9.90 version doc, it will then also be supported. And if you have compatibility questions here, please go to versiondoc.info. There you will see what is working with which version, and there you always find a yes, no, and have a detailed information what if your devices are supported and in which detail, in which granularity we can compare. Good. We are listed on the Siemens mall there. You will find us there. So if you ask Siemens what to use for backup, compare, not only for TIA, also for other things like here PCS7, WinCC, CNumeric, all S7 and so on. Therefore, they recommend VersionDoc, or should recommend it. Depends on the country where you call. But in most countries, the Siemens support is already aware of VersionDoc. Yeah, and just one highlight more, as I introduced VersionDoc together with IoT, Industry 4.0. The IoT one, they analyzed over 2,000 companies, created the top 500 index, and we are here placed on place 75, which is quite in the front of the top 500, and we are quite proud of it that we are so high ranked. Good. Let me go back here to the slices. Let's talk a little bit about the features and functionality of VersionDoc. Yeah, so as already mentioned at the beginning, we deliver with VersionDoc automatic backup, we deliver version control, as well as the documentation for it. Yeah, so you will get the backup of the device. When the backup is on the server, we compare it against the stored revision and version. You can see if there are differences or not. And if you do version control, maybe you have a blend change, then you can use the smart compares. You see what is different. You just need to type in the change reasons, and that's it. So that are the main functions, and the automatic backup, that is something which is quite important to have something for disaster recovery, or if you restore the stored version, to have something to see, it was in line with the current version. There was no change. Typical scenario is that you have a contractor or supplier. In Corona time, they are remote connected. Quite often, virtual private networks connections are used. So you do not always have control if there is now a change from a contractor and supplier or not. And therefore, VersionDoc is the real solution, because when you do a regular backup, for example, every hour or a shift end, then you immediately get the information if the running code in your automation device, or at least in your PLC, is the same as stored on the VersionDoc server. So if there was a change of supplier, maybe remote, and you didn't know it, and we do the backup, we immediately inform you, oh, there's a different code running. We show you exactly what is different, and you have the chance to create out of that backup a new version if you know it was your supplier. If it wasn't your supplier and you have no clue what it is, and maybe the machine is not working well, then you of course can restore the current version into the device. That is related to cyber security. If you have a cyber attack, then if they went over switches until your PLC and already changed the PLC code, then the versiondog system is the only solution who can bring you back fast on safety, yeah? Because you check out the not affected version, you restore the device, and you're on the safe side. And we start this cybersecurity already on the network switch level. So if there is a network switch attacked and there's a port open which shouldn't be, we immediately give you alarm before PLC is attacked. Yeah. Then version control, it's getting more and more important. Yeah, you should document each change. You should type in why you changed it, for what reason, and document that at least. And therefore, versiondog is it's perfect, because in the time you are changing, you're modifying your PLC code, you don't need to write down anymore on a white paper what you did and what you modify. Yeah? You really can modify until the machine is running well again, and see afterwards what you modified with our smart compare, and then you are able to just to write in the change reason. But what was modified, who, when, where, this is logged and documented by versiondog automatically. And this documentation then, who changed what, when, where, and why, this will then be available on PDF file, on paper, by email, by a nice report client, by web reports. So the format, it's your choice how you want to have it. A lot of customers get by email a daily report. So if I look, for example, to Amazon, they have all their logistics centers in Europe connected to one cloud server, and they get daily emails with nice bar graphs and charts to see if every logistics centers have done first a backup, if all are green, so if the device fits to the stored version, and if not, they immediately can get in action, have a look why it's not equal. Yeah. How does it work? So here's again, I would explain with here the workflow. So we have here on the left side the versiondog server. It can be physical or virtual machine. The most in the meantime is virtualized, I would say. So these systems are full supported. Even if you want to install it in the cloud, it would be supported. Yeah, we have TLS encryption between server and client, so that will then be full encrypted. You can check it out on your local client. There you can work offline, you can modify. Then, of course, you will download the new code into the device. Look if it's working, if the proof or the feature fix is well working. Then you can finalize your new version and send it back and check it in to the server so that everybody sees you modified it for these and these reasons, and it's running now in the device. And the server itself checks then, like you have scheduled it, every shift end, for example, or night. They back up here the SCADA, the PLC, the robot. When the backup is on the server, we compare against the stored version and let you know if everything is equal or if there are changes. So, and with these reports, we also jump on more modern devices like your smartphone, tablet, web client. Yeah, so we support QR reader, barcode scanning, which are already on the machine. You scan it and then you see immediately if this device is backed up, if there are differences, who made the last change, why it was done, and so on. You also can see in the meantime which firmware is running there, the cycle time can be controlled, the memory can be controlled, so there's much more available than just the backup. And for existing customers who joined today the web meeting, let me give you here also a review. Here we will release process analytics and more insights. So we have here a dashboard available, maybe released with version 9 already. Currently it looks so that we can release it in version 9 of versiondog. And there you have nice finished reports about all the data inside versiondog, where you can then click together your report in a dashboard and have it ready. So these are brand new features which we will deliver with 9.0. Good, that's it for PowerPoint. Maybe there are already questions. Please write them down into the chat. And let me jump now into an image where I will demonstrate you how we manage TIA Portal with versiondog. So you should see now a new desktop, and I'm here in my VMware, and there you see all the 4 clients here. These are the standard versiondog clients. One is an easy client. that is reduced to the minimum of needs, I would say. The customers don't need the training to use it. That's the big plus for this easy client. You will be guided through the whole process from checkout over changing, editing until check-in. So this is these are the 4 steps. Here is also a normal user client, I would say, for the daily users with the full functionality. A further client to administer versiondog. If it's running in the cloud or in the IT, you don't need to go physically to the versiondog server, as well as we have a nice report client to create your reports. And then add-on, I took it here to the right, the library management. This is for S7, for RSLogix from Rockwell, as well as for TIA Portal. So here we create a cross-reference so that you can see which library content was used in which project. I will show it live here as well. Let me start here with the normal user client. You double-click on it, and then you type in here your username, your password. Of course, can be connected to the Active Directory, to the domain. And you then you can log in. Here you see now, based on my user rights, which projects and which components I have user rights on, which I'm allowed to see at least. We have here a search engine, so if you have thousands of devices, you can search for your device. And here I prepared now a project for our today's webcast, a TIA project. And you see it's on the server available, but not locally. So the first thing I have to do is the checkout. Yeah? So this is the workflow. Check out, change it, then you create a new version, and then you check in. Yeah? And for the international customers, just to inform you, here are all kind of languages available. You can switch online from language to language to make it easier for you. Let me start with the checkout. So I selected the project. Here it's already selected. I could say, okay, I will take it in development so that everybody knows I'm working on this. Or I could also take it in exclusive use if it's a short moment only. Maybe I will work until 12 p.m. on this. And then everybody knows, okay, it's until 12, and then it's okay. So everybody will see my log state that I'm working on this. Good. And now you see also it's getting colored, the project. Yeah, that means I have it on the server and local. And now I can go to the next step, open it with the editor. And it will now be handed over automatically to TIA Portal. The client looks into the Windows registry where TIA is installed and hands over the project to TIA. Yeah? So that is faster and easier for you. If you don't like that, you could also close the versiondog client and start here over the Start menu, TIA Portal, and choose the right project, of course. But these are multiple steps, which is just time consuming and not safe. Maybe you open the wrong one and then you restore the wrong project in the PLC. So with that, it's much easier, I would say. And the integration into TIA is from our side quite deep. We compare here on a very low level the details. Currently, we use the TIA Portal to do the compare. In the future, that maybe change. We are working on that. That we also can compare it actively. Yeah. So if you look to classical S7, if you look to RSLogix 5000 and so on, these are compares which are independent from the editor. With TIA, we are currently using the editor, but in the future that will change. Good, so the project is still open here in the background, and my moderator, please mute the participants where the microphone is open. And as soon as it's open here, I will do some changes to demonstrate you how your normal engineering work would be with versiondog. We support the compare for all parts. So if you go here, for example, into the PLC part. Let me go here into that. And I go here to program blocks. Let me go here maybe to the block 1. So then I will do here change. And later I will go also to the SCADA system, do there also changes. And then you don't need to write down what you modify. So if I go now here into network 1 here, in this ladder logic, for example, there I can add a function, a further step. And so let me take this. So now I've added here this instruction, save. Maybe I go here to another one. So it depends on the programming language you're using. We support ladder, but all other ones as well, structured text, STL sources, whatever you use. Yeah. Let me go here. Maybe I change here such a structured text from 700. I go to 500 here as end position. And let me save it here. Then let me go here also further. Let me go here into a display. This was now PLC changes. I go now to a SCADA part. For example, I go here in the screen. Go here to screen 10, for example. And in the screen, I will now modify an object. So maybe here it's this line here by the filling. I need a little bit higher. It should be like this here, so like that. So I modified the position to the top and save this. And maybe in another, in 11 control, this was now 10 control. Maybe here I go into such a button here and change there the properties. Maybe here in the event, I say, okay, the value should not be 1, it should be 0. Maybe that was a mistake, and save. So whatever you do, you could also change scripts and properties or move objects, add or delete objects. All that will be recognized. Then yeah, maybe I go here to the tags, HMI tags, and here they are. And I will add here, to keep it easy for me, a new tag. Let's call it here test tag. I do have some tests. So and save. So it was not there before. So whatever you modify here in the tree on the left will later be checked by versiondog. Yeah, let's go here to the recipe. Maybe this one I don't need anymore. Or I add a new one. So and save, just a new element. And maybe also the user administration. Let me add there a new user, Tim, which was not there before, and save. Okay, so I had done now a lot of changes. I could go until tonight, but I want to save time. I close now the project. So I have not written down what I did. Many changes. Yeah. And in versiondog, when I'm now back in versiondog, and by the way, I could close the client. It did nothing now in the background. But you see here a pen. Yeah, the pen shows I changed this project here already. It's not in line with version 6. So if I want to know what it is, I click here on the third button. Yeah, so after checkout, after changing, I go to the third button, create new version. And then what the client now doing is, you see here already starts a compare process. It compares version 6 against this modified project here in my working folder. This is what happens now. Yeah? So the compare is running now by dropping this button, and then we will see the results. Yeah? And we go through the whole project tree, what you have seen in TIA. The whole database will now be compared between the current revision 6 and this modified project to see what exactly is modified. And that is the great solution within versiondog, that you really get all the modifications in detail. And you can create out of that a report, you can print it out, you can email it. You also can use it for audit trails. If you have an audit and you want to show the auditor what is modified by whom, when and why, on which day, all that will be covered by this report, which is now be created here in the background with versiondog. For TIA, it takes a little bit longer to compare. And by the way, I also have used a real customer project here, so not a nice optimized demo, a real large project, so that you have a real a real project here, and so you see also the timing which is needed. Good. So now you see here here on this side you get here now a result tree, and in this tree you see only these parts which have been modified. So we see now here in network 1 there is instruction different. Yes, I added here this instruction. In here in this area I modified from 700 to 500. You can see it here, it's red highlighted. Then if you don't see it good, then you can also zoom in and zoom out, of course. Then here in the screen you can see the graphic. I modified that. I modified it to the top in the Y position, the line which I increased to the top. In 11 control, that was where I changed the property of that switch. I changed the value from 1 to 0. As well in the tags here, in the HMI tags, I added a test tag which was not there before. And in the recipes you have seen I added the new element C123, as well as I changed the user. I added Tim, which was not there before. So to document now my new version, which gets number 7, you can see here the current version was 6. It's getting now version 7. There you type in your change request. And of course, you should then explain why you modified this. So this here is, for example, due to a product change. The next one here, that may be an improvement. And so on. So for each change, you can add what you did. Better securance, to update the line to the top and so on. I skip now the others, because I want to finalize my new version and save time. So this will then now be created here locally first of all. Maybe I'm not connected to the server, but I will finalize my work locally in the production in front of the PLC. And then I have created now locally my new version 7. It's not on the server yet. You can see it here. So when I now want to check it in, then you click here on this button, check in, and then it will be moved here to the server. And it starts then from the beginning. So version 7 is now on the server, and with the check-in I have deleted locally, so that the next time I need to check it out again. You can also keep it locally if you want, and you take this away, and then it would stay. This is the workflow from checkout until check-in. So you check it out. Let me do it again. Then you have it locally available. You can also have a nice report. There's a version history about it. So you can see here the whole change history. I have created 7 versions of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Today I created 7. All others yesterday in preparation of today's web meeting. If you scroll down, then you see here for version 7 all my changes I have done. Here are my comments which I have typed in, and you can print it out or email this report. So you're quite flexible on that. Good. What else is interesting? If you have a versiondog there, you can also add their libraries. I plan to do it live, but maybe I skip that and show you immediately how that looks like. You do a right mouse click here and say to a project that you have a library. So you can assign standard libraries. Here we see one. And if you have assigned that, yeah, and applied for it, then you can go here into our library management. And in the library management, there you will see here under technologies, there is my demo. There you see my project A, and there I have used content of the library 1. And now you see here my component. This is my project A. And I have here one library. Of course, it could be multiple libraries, yeah, just to explain it to you. And here you see one current state. That means here I used in this example in the object here, which is called alarm, in version 1 from the library, and it's in version 1 in the project. If you update the library in the meantime here, then it can go to outdated. That means the library content of this blink function is newer. I could update my project in the meantime because I have a newer, maybe optimized standard block, which I could use now here in that. Yeah. If you go into the project itself and you change a standard which is not in line with any version of the library, then it gets invalid because it's not a standard anymore in our understanding. You modified the library which you used and it's not in line with library content, so it gets invalid. And with these nice functions, you really can store it. And it's, by the way, not only here for TIA, it's also here for S7 available, yeah, also for Allen Bradley, Rockwell. So whatever you use, which kind of PLC you have, you can use our standard library for standardizing software code in PLCs. Good, then we have also here a nice report client. That's the last thing, and then I open the answer and questions. If you look to the reports, there you see, if you mark today, you see then there is one new version created. Yeah, exactly this is what I'd have done. If I go to current week, then of course we get much more. Yeah? I have added a lot of components here in presentations, or I created, I was busy, 211 versions here. Yeah, so you see what I have to do as salesperson all week. You can store these reports and load them. Yeah, so in, let's say, if I want to say today, and new versions, daily new versions, then you could go there and say, okay, I save this as daily new version, and whenever you come in the morning, yeah, you load and can load your reports. That is how it works. Good. Beside that, we also have there a nice web client as well. We have the handhelds, what you have seen. So there are many more possibilities for the existing customers. If you go to the web admin client, and you see there in global settings, the web report here, the web server, if you enable it, then it's automatically running on this website. So you only need to log in there, and you will see then there also all the needed information. Just type in there your user credential. So in my case, versiondog, and the password, which is by default change -IT, and then you get into the web client and have also all the overview about the components, as well as you get here also the job statistic. You see how much are good, how much are equal, some are different, so you can really see if you get better, worse. So you have a full analysis of these things, as well as you get here from the asset state always the MLFB number out of the S7. You see which firmware was installed. You also can see here the RAM usage, if there are forcing values active, the cycle time that it doesn't exceed, let's say 150 milliseconds and so on. So a lot of more than just the stupid backup here. Okay, and if you want to back up your device, that may be also important here. Here under jobs, you go there, you take your PLC here, your application from the left to the right, Give me a second here. It needs a little bit of time. So now it's working. You take it here to the right. We identify its TIA. Yeah? If it's networked, we can schedule it. If not, then we use the manual backup client. So for not network devices, it's also a solution. You say, I want to back it up, let's say every 6 hours to the shift, and I control my PLCs. And then we look into the project's IP address so that you can get it here. Here are 3 possibilities. You could just do a checksum. This is a fast backup to look if it just fits, but typically you want the full backup, and there you have 2 possibilities. The station upload, which would use the openness interface from TIA, there you have the most information, or use the software upload, which is using then the TIA portal, but there you are limited then of the TIA functionality. Good, and that's it. And then you save this backup, and then it will run every 6 hours. And you will be informed if there are then differences in the backup, exactly that what you have seen here in the web client. You can compare backup against version and have always a nice overview what is going on. Good, so then, yeah, a little bit for more minutes we have. I would like to open the question and answer time. Yogo, do we have some questions?
Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, we do have a couple of them. Thank you very much for all that information, Thomas. I believe this was extremely helpful, and that everyone now has a much better appreciation of the day-to-day challenges and of versiondog and how we can help them overcome.
Yeah.
So in fact, we do have a couple of questions I would like to cover. I'm not sure if we get all covered because there are quite a lot. So one first question, I think this is more related to the dashboard you have shown at the beginning. So the question was, does versiondog have a customizable dashboard, or is it prefixed?
No, it is. Of course, we have finished reports which you can click together, but we give you the possibility to customize it on your own. Yeah, so you have templates which you can use and click the templates together. This is the current plan and the solution.
Yeah.
But you can also add your own reports, yeah. But therefore, you need to have a deeper understanding how to create web reports. But it's full customizable. But with templates, we try to assist the most customers to get it fast, ready, yeah, and working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for that. The next question is more related to a support question. So it was a specific question if we are supporting Schubert packaging systems. I'm not familiar with that actually, so I think that would be a question we will try to cover afterwards, or looking for having a discussion with.
Yeah, the answer is easy. You need to ask Schubert if they use still classical S7 or if they have already TIA implemented or any other device vendor, and then have a look on versiondog.info if this device is listed there. It could be something Codesys based, TwinCAD based, S7, TIA, whatever it is in Schubert. Yeah, they verify if from the old machines to the newest ones.
Yeah. All right. So another important question is if every version of TIA Portal is needed to have the compare, because many customers have, of course, different versions of TIA Portal in line.
Yeah. No, that's not the case. No, so wait a second. In the classical smart compares where we are editor independent, it's not needed. In case of TIA, as I know, we need for every version an installed system, yeah, because we use the TIA portal for compare. But please correct me if I'm wrong. It's just a 90% answer from my side. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can go.
For backup, yes, that is something I know. That's the reason why some customers installed the different TIA portals in different VMwares, yeah, on one machine. That is one solution. For the compare, I'm not 100% sure.
All right. Then, does the HMI comparison also works with WinCC v16, version 16?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I didn't get to check in our device tutorial. Maybe you can show once again the overview where the customers can find those answers. But of course, we can also send the link afterwards.
Yeah, here under versiondog.info, there under device tutorials, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another question which came up related to TIA hardware configuration. Does versiondog compare also the hardware configuration?
Yeah, that's a good question. We do check the hardware configuration binary, but we don't compare it in detail. The reason is easy, because the firmware of Siemens is changing so often that we would have the need to update versiondog weekly on the customer side. And that makes no sense, because it would be an update marathon just to get the information out of the hardware configuration, which customers do not change so often in production. It's more on the engineering side interesting. When you are a system integrator, machine builder, there you have to do a lot with it. There it would be nice, but again, we check it if it's modified and let you know the hardware configuration is different, but then you have a look into TIA and look in detail what is different.
So another question was, can we use versiondog for backoff TwinCut 3 exactly like TIA Portal?
Well, there I give a fast answer, yes.
Yes, that's an easy answer. It's actually...
By the way, we do not just compare the online and the offline project. We compare three things. We have to check the running code against the boot project against the stored version, because quite often the boot project is not updated when they store into the processor or boot in the processor. So if the boot process is older than the processor running code, we give alarm as well.
Okay, so then I think that comes from a customer who is already using versiondog, because he's familiar, obviously, with the agents. So is it planned to use agents for TIA Portal without necessarily install TIA Portal on Agent PC also?
That is I would say that's a general strategy of versiondog and RVC, that we are editor independent. If you look to all these compares, for most cases, we don't need any editor. Yeah? So if you go to Simatic S7, there you see no software. As well, if you go to Rockwell, to the American side, no software needed on clients. So this is the normal strategy. But currently in TIA is still there are so many changes that we still decided to use the TIA portal, as long as there are massive database changes done by Siemens. In the future, we have the goal to be independent and to be able to compare TIA natively. So the answer is yes.
Okay. Just keeping an eye on the time, because we're running out of time, but I want to recover one question which was related to the WinCC V16 Professional. So I think we didn't get the question quite right, because the question was specifically for WinCC V16 and if there is a comparison possible.
Well, WinCC is one of the main components what we have, and independent from the version, we do develop the compare for WinCC as well as the automatic backup. Yeah? So if you have WinCC running, also WinCC Professional V16, you can back it up automatically at any time with an installed HMI agent locally, so you don't need to wait for a production stop. You can back up the SQL server, which is below WinCC, at any time, even if it's writing or reading. Yeah? So that makes it quite flexible, as well as the detail compare is therefore available.
Okay, so is the
only WinCC which was no compare was the open architecture WinCC, which was the former, I forgot the product, but that was not original WinCC. That was a acquired company from Austria, but I missed the name. But the classical WinCC Professional, that is something, of course, which we do support. Yeah.
Okay, so is the amount of projects, let's cover two more questions because we're running out of time a little bit. Is the amount of projects limited? I think that depends on the package size, but maybe you can add some some words.
Yeah, what is not limited is how many versions you create or how many backups you do. That depends on the space on the network you make available for the versiondog server archive. Mm-hmm. What is limited is the amount of components, because this is what at least makes the price on the license. It starts with 100 or 300 components. That means 300 projects which you can manage and 300 backups. The standard license would cover 3,000 components, 1,000 backups. If you look currently to the largest server, which is running a Tetrabug, they have 75,000 components. Mm-hmm. Daimler has on its main server 30,000 components and 10,000 backups running. So it's really up to the license what you're looking for, but for physically there is no limit. Yeah, it always depends on your network, on the system you're spending for the versiondog server and so on.
All right, and the last one is, can we upload lower versions TIA program with help of this software?
You mean to download it into? No, we don't write. We just read and compare due to warranty reasons. So it's not the case that we download on our own the code.
I believe, maybe I get this wrong, but I believe this is more related to from which version we are able to automatically back up the controller. That would be 15.1.
Yeah, well, yes, well, you can see here, we manage it from 11 to compare, but the download stuff, yeah, you need to have a look then here into this, or there is, by the way, a whole tutorial. Yeah, if you go there and you download this PDF tutorial, there is all fixed with overviews, what is possible, what not. Yeah, then you see it here.
Okay, one last question, because there are a lot, but don't worry, again, we're gonna cover all the others. So one last question. I would like to ask if it is possible to use versiondog to back up also server client projects WinCC 7.5 with their archives during runtime.
Yes, that is also possible. Yeah, that is a typical scenario which we have.
Yeah, so I think that was an easy answer. Great.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, so once again, thank you very much to all participants. Thank you, Thomas, for your presentation.
You're welcome.
We will cover the open questions, the unanswered afterwards, following up by email. We're going to share some details. We're going to share the presentation material, some links, and provide the video online. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you from my side. Have a nice rest of your day.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.